Welcome to the Sherri Johnson Show, the podcast for real estate agents who are ready to stop chasing their next deal and start building a business that provides predictable and consistent monthly income to even double or even triple your income and sales production in less than a year. I'm Sherri Johnson, international real estate coach, speaker, consultant, and the creator of the exclusive Goldmine Pipeline strategy that's helped thousands of agents add over 6 figures to even 7 figures to their bottom line. If you're ready to generate more leads, crush your income goals, and finally play the long game, you're in the right place. Let's dig in. Hey there, and welcome to the Sherri Johnson podcast show. I'm Sherri Johnson, and I'm so excited. We've got an unbelievable show for you today. Two of my very favorite people, Teresa and Dennis Walsh, are joining me today. We're going to give you unbelievable takeaways to grow your business in today's market. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Dennis. Thank you for joining me. I am so excited. You're one of my first episodes on my new podcast. We retired the old one. First of all, I've known the two of you for literally the whole career. I started in Smythe Kramer Real Estate, in Smythe Kramer Company in Cleveland, Ohio, where you launched your new construction certification. You've been around literally the entire globe. You've helped so many people up their game, learn strategies to sell new construction. It's so vital. And in my opinion, there's no one else doing what you're doing. So I want to congratulate you and tell you just what an honor and privilege it is to have you in my life. About 8 years ago, we reunited, touring all over the place, speaking and being in events together. It's just been a lot of fun and a lot of excellent and amazing value. So tell us a little bit about how you started the company, the need. This is an unbelievable niche when you think about new construction sales, home remodeling. Agents don't have ways to diversify their lead generation. And so having these additional certifications and expertise allows them to have so many more opportunities to sell more houses and add more value. So how did you get started? Because I know you're really one of the few, if the only, I think to me, you're the only people that do this. So tell us about how you got started and along the way, how it's done. 'Cause it's an unbelievable journey.
And I'll give you a quick run, but I grew up in a construction family. My father was a contractor, uncles, my grandfather built homes. So in the summer, when other kids were all goofing around and laying around in the backyard, we were working on construction sites. So I learned all the trades hands-on growing up. When I was 14, I started my own remodeling business. Of course, the challenge at 14 is you don't have a driver's license. So I show up the first day of the job with a wagon with my tools, and they're thinking, what have we done? This guy to build our deck or whatever. But it's always been a part of my life. So construction, I had a factory in Chardon, Ohio. You know where Chardon is, right? And I did panelized trusses, wall panels. We shipped packages for homes for professional builders all over Ohio, into New York, all the way down to Naples, Florida. And so that was a business I grew, 70 employees building all that. It was material supply. But then I also had a design build, custom building company, did that, and always tried to stay on the leading edge with super energy efficiency and some of the latest methods and designs. And it was really exciting. And then one day, this beautiful little blonde bouncing into the office, and she's trying to sell flooring.
I didn't care when my brother and I had a flooring company, and I didn't care once I saw done if I got his business. I said, I'm going to close the deal, and married is 47 years ago. So that's right.
I was, I believe, the first builder in the entire area to actually open the doors and cooperate with real estate professionals. And I quickly realized that there was a great desire to do that, but the agents really had no clue. Nobody had ever taught, was no training. How do we work with builders? How do we help buyers through the process?
There was such a divide too back then. Realtors and builders were like oil and water back then.
That's right.
Yeah. We were like evangelists.
Not only didn't get along or know how to get along, just didn't want to. And so we enjoyed the idea of motivating and educating people. I was invited to come into Realty One to do some training, realized, boy, this is something I love to do. There was a lot of excitement. So I remember coming back one day and saying to Tree, what if we created this business? And we traveled the nation, we traveled the world, and it sounded like a big idea. And of course, you can relate as you build your big idea, brought it to life. And so it began back then. And the story now is we created our certified new home specialist training. We then created residential construction certified, and then ultimately also our residential remodeling specialist. We've had now roughly 200,000 real estate professionals, building professionals through our various courses and live presentations.
North Home Improvement uses our construction course in all 1,700 stores because they said, you guys have the best online training. We want to teach our salespeople. And when you think about it, Sherri, I got my license years ago in Northeast Ohio. Definitely was not mandatory back then.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And wait, I didn't hear. How many years ago?
42 years ago. So back then, think about it. Not mandatory that you know what's behind the drywall, window types, roof types. You didn't need to know anything about you were selling. But guess what? HGTV and the internet didn't exist back then. A whole lot didn't exist back then. Now we need to know the product we sell. So that's why Lowe's, they approached us and said, we heard you have awesome online training to teach about the components of a home. So we're proud of that.
I want to stop for a second and say, I knew bits and pieces of the story, of course, and I knew how you met, and I love that story. It's so fabulous, and it's just wonderful, and I'd love to hear it again. To see you at 14 say, I want to do this, what fabulous role models you had, and knowing then when you got into, and literally, I've been licensed, I'm about to start my 30th year, so I was told, LB McKelvey said, you have to take this class. This is a must-have. You started it out here. You have 200,000 people have gone through your program. And I have to pause and say, really, you are the who's who of real estate, new construction, marketing, home sales. It's amazing. I love it. I mean, just that factor alone. And, every company has brought you in. I know that just because I get to be kind of on the coattails of saying, oh, I know them. And just knowing that this is an area. And when you say we didn't get along with builders, we did not. And it was not fun. And as an agent, we didn't. Later, when I got into management, I was trying to create bridges and close the gap and get cooperation. It's a real hard thing to do. So I'm glad you pioneered that because we all know the industry needed it. And then to think you're in every Lowe's store, and again, you said it, HGTV was not around. This was not a thing.
Nope.
The boom took place when people started doing the Home Depot projects and Lowe's projects. And wow, what a need for this just from the general public as well as our industry. So you created a designation, which is what I really want to dive into. Agents today can take your course, can learn how to sort of master the art of selling new homes and being a specialist. What does that entail? And tell us what you teach them.
All right. Well, I think one of the things I first want to point out is over the years of doing this, we've all seen a lot of changes and up and downs in the marketplace. One of the things, as Tree kind of alluded to in the beginning, the attitude was, well, do we really bother with new homes? Do we need that? Well, I think one of the important things to recognize is that new homes for most buyers and shoppers out there is part and parcel of their shopping experience. 60% of all active shoppers want to shop for a new home. They ultimately aren't all going to buy a new home, but it's got to be part of the process. And we always say it's the bait that brings the fish into the boat. Yep. And so that's one of the fundamental things to be aware of. When it comes to remodeling, 55% of all current homeowners want to do some significant remodeling to their home. So what are they saying? In essence, they're saying, you know what, Sherri? I don't love my house exactly the way it is. There's changes I'd like to make. There's things about this home that don't meet my needs. So we're looking at that. We're saying, okay, 60% of all active shoppers want to shop for a new home. And guess what? Builders have to keep building.
That's right.
Developers have to keep developing, and they have to keep selling. That's their business. Sellers of existing homes can just take the homes off the market and wait for things to change. Builders can't do that. So it's always a fundamental component of the market. We have a huge need for more housing inventory. It's estimated somewhere 3.5, 4 million homes we're short, housing units short to meet the needs of folks across this country. And every year that grows with more household formation. So these are some of the most powerful components of residential real estate. And yet a very small percentage of agents have the awareness, know how to tackle it all, know how to guide people through.
Well, you know, Sherri, because you were a manager, so many agents, because believe me, we've talked to a lot, they think new homes, you know what, I don't want to sit on site for a builder. That's where it stops.
You're right.
I think that's the only way to get into the business. So we were just recently at a convention back in February, and I had a woman, she sees our certified new home specialist logo. We've got the exhibit booth. She comes on up and she's like, oh my God, new homes. That's all I sell for 30 years. I said, come on in. You are one of my people. Come on in here. Let's talk. I love it. And I said, have you ever taken any training for new home sales? She said, oh, I could probably write the course. I said, okay, it's going to be you. There's always one at every convention. She's going to be one. I said, okay. So I said, well, where are you located? She tells me what city and state she's in. And I use this statistic Dennis just shared with you. 60% active home shoppers are looking for new construction. Right?
And do they want to work with agents?
92% want to work with real estate professionals, which is an amazing
How huge is that?
statistic for us.
Thank
so I asked her, how often do we hear this? Oh my gosh, these buyers, they drive me crazy. They go directly to the builder.
That's right.
We hear it all the time. So I said to her, well, let's do a little exercise, shall we? I said, if my husband and I were moving to your city and state, and we want to find a real estate professional, and we're one of the 60% that would like to look at new construction, let's Google your area right now. I turn the computer around. I show her, I said, look at this. Not one real estate professional shows up. I said, mainly you.
Gosh.
And that all you sell are new homes for 30 years.
Wow.
But I don't know that. Only you do. She's like, huh. I said, yeah, because we don't think about intercepting buyers before they go to the builder. She looks, did you take American Express? I said, yes, I do. Let go.
Maybe a minute ago.
I mean, swear to God. But it was so funny because it was such an aha moment that let's forget about, that's a great way to do business, sitting on site for a builder, but it goes way beyond that. Let's intercept the buyers, market ourselves as new home buyer representatives, have the opportunity to build that trust, build that rapport. And guess what? Not all of them are going to buy new homes, timing and affordability, but you've had the opportunity to build that trust.
And take them through that educational process.
Exactly. And you show them something that works best.
And by the way, roughly 80% of the buyers of new homes have existing homes to sell.
There you go.
So what part, you know, and her story there too. I remember we were on stage at one convention. There were 2,000 agents, managers out in the audience. And we went through that same information, the 92%, the 60%. I just said, just out of curiosity, if Teresa and I were coming to your market area tomorrow, I said, I'd love to see a show of hands. Would we find you? We're looking for a new home. We're looking for a professional. Would we find you? And maybe 2 or 3 hands out of 2,000 people went up. We're saying, are you kidding? You're invisible to the biggest segment of the market. And maybe one of the most fundamental American dreams is that someday I'd like to own a brand new home. Let's explore that possibility. Is it crazy or what?
It is. The numbers are staggering. And I think it is a total aha moment for agents listening to this podcast right now. This is exactly why I'm having you on my show. This is, when you think there's 1.5 million real estate agents in the country and only 200,000, which is a huge number for you, but 200,000 have taken the class. And yet all these people are invisible. They don't, when you Google, I say this all the time, like, do you cover that in your bio? Do you cover it on a buyer agreement? You know, when you meet with a buyer, agents, are you saying, I specialize in finding you vacant land, finding you a builder, right?
It should be in their social media.
Yes.
There should be content on your website discussing how you can support them through that search and the benefits of working with you. And all that stuff is fundamental. But again, the majority. So the great news is this is virtually untapped. Trey always says, look, you already have a spigot turned on in your business. Right. You've dedicated a lot of time and effort to building that. And that's existing used homes. That's of interest to 40% of the buyers who say, that's all I care about. Well, great. Let's open it up to the other 60%. Let's turn on that spigot. And it doesn't take that much effort. Tree can explain, we get to that point, Tree can kind of explain the training, what's included, and the rows you go down. But we literally have people knock out all 3 courses over a period of 2 weeks or maybe 3 weekends or something, and they're off and running in their business in ways they never imagined.
I'm excited.
I think the other thing I have to point out too is, and Tree already said, people think of sitting on site. Okay, that's one way to do business. We have people doing subdivisions and all, selling a group of builders in a big community. We have people working with developers, but there's also positioning yourself as a new home buyer specialist. Almost every agent on earth should be adding that to their expertise.
Absolutely.
Right? Working with custom builders. There's infill, tear downs, rebuilds. Our son Christian's ranked in the 1% of all agents in the nation, right? We don't think it's a coincidence. We do think.
We church him every year. You're going through the tree.
We think because he applies this in his business. And a big area of his business is taking his knowledge of construction. We teach in the course success strategies around infill, tear downs, rebuilds. It's estimated that more than 30% of all the residential building permits issued the last number of years have been some sort of infill. Tear down, rebuild, old apartment, tearing down an old hotel. Some of the stuff comes up, it's condos. Some of them are rentals. Christian has found that his business has evolved in not only helping developers tear down stuff and put up single family homes or multifamily projects, but also investment properties, right? So
Exactly. What I want to tell you is that I started my career, I don't think you know this story, and I dated a builder's son. I was in commercial printing, working for my father's printing business. My parents had a printing company in Solon. You know where that is. And so I grew up in Solon. I was in commercial printing my whole life. I dated Rick Dinallo's son. Rick Dinallo from the novel and Northrop Homes. And he just passed. I went to his funeral last week. He told me every single Sunday, he would say, "Kid, you need to be in real estate. Kid, you need to be selling houses." I got into real estate because of a builder. No knowledge of any real estate at all. I kept saying, I stopped printing. I'm never getting into real estate. He literally told me for at least 2 years, I should be in real estate. And I ended up, I wasn't dating his son any longer. He's a great guy, but I got my license. My mom pushed me to get my license. She said, just get it. And I want to tell you that throughout the years, whether I was an agent, and I would go find builders. I wanted to learn it so that I could get the business from opportunities that I saw where builders were not represented. And so if you're sitting there listening to this today, I want you to write down, where are the builder opportunities? Who are they? Again, not every builder is represented. You don't have to be sitting at a model home to do new construction. You can actually offer new construction sales to your buyers, whether they buy it or not. I want to ask you, 60% want to look at new construction homes, new homes. How many, do we have a stat? Because I know that I would tell people, even if you're considering new construction, because I didn't want to lose them, Teresa, to the builder. They go into a model home, right? And I wanted to make sure that if we were even remotely thinking about new construction, that you were going to do that with me. So 60% want to at least consider new construction. How many end up buying that? Do you know that number?
Well, on a national level, that number tends to hover somewhere around 20% of all sales. But there are market areas. Teresa and I did a ton of training down in Atlanta for years, and it ran 45% of all sales there. So that's just one example. So there's markets like that.
Texas, another one.
Texas
Florida.
is up in Texas. Yeah, Florida
has huge new construction. The new construction sales beat residential resale in markets. I've seen those stats. I think the number of agents who don't have this in their toolbox is staggering. I think that most people are scared of it. I think most people don't realize how available this type of training is, that and how affordable it is, and that they can use it to leverage their buyer, their skills, their value proposition. Again, even if someone doesn't end up going the new construction route, you have added value to the conversation and you are speaking those things. You're never going to lose a client if you're having this in part of your dialogue. If anything, you have every opportunity to help them consider new construction, make the decision whether that's in their best financial interest to go the new construction route, to show it, know how to handle it, be versed. That's what I think is so great. Being versed in this is going to be an advantage to you as an agent. If you're listening, I mean, look, what are you offering? What's in your website? How do you communicate in your buyer guide, for example, that you can represent someone effectively and handle the sale? What I love is that if you can put the right keywords on a landing page that offer new construction sales, when someone is typing in new construction, what part of California, you're going to pop up, and I guarantee your son's name is going to pop up because he has this down, right, to YouTube channels and etc. But what can they do? What can agents do in addition to new homes and getting certified? The new home specialist, CNHS, residential construction certified, as well as residential remodeling specialist, which I want to hear about because that is hot. That is something today's sellers are considering making major renovations, but maybe they should sell. Agents today, Dennis and Teresa, don't know how to have that conversation. They avoid it. They miss an opportunity. How can we educate them on the remodeling designation?
I'm going to let Sherri jump into that. I want to make just one point. We have the 3 courses. The residential construction certified is how a home is built. So that's what Lowe's is using for us. It's materials, method, structure, terminology. Everyone in real estate benefits. You're talking to home inspectors. You're talking to contractors. People about the improvements they want to make in their home. That's the product we sell. It's the language of residential real estate. So that's at the heart of it. Certified new home specialist is working with builders, developers, new home buyers, also in-depth sales, closing, overcoming objections. And we hear all the time, that training is not just for new homes. This has changed everything I do today. Then we have residential remodeling specialists, which also builds on the construction course, right? And that knowledge. Either helping sellers position themselves, maximize the sale, buyers finding homes. But I'm going to throw it over to Tree. You talk about the remodeling through.
Stat. Well, Sherri, how many agents are always asked this question if they're talking to a homeowner, a buyer, seller? If I were to go ahead and maybe remodel the kitchen or maybe put hardwood flooring in, just do a few things to the house, how much will my home be worth after the remodeling? They're asked that question all the time. And guess what? Most agents are not prepared to answer that question. Okay. So we now teach them in the training. Everybody does a CMA. We teach in the training program how to do an RVA. That is a remodeling value analysis, what the home will be worth after the remodeling. So we tell all the graduates of our residential remodeling specialists, reach out to anybody you've ever spoken with about real estate, anybody you've sold a home to. Sherri, what's going on? Are you growing out of your home? Do you need to downsize? What's happening? Funny you should call. I've been thinking about remodeling, to Den's point. That's an open door. They're not satisfied with something in the home. So now you go over there, you talk about what it is they'd like to do with the home. And we have a remodeling checklist that they follow in there. Once you're done, you'll be able to share with them, well, here's what your home's going to be worth, Sherri, and highly recommend you don't want to put all that money into this. Because now some people will say, I don't care. I'm going to die in this house. It doesn't matter.
But bury me in the basement.
Bury me in the basement. It doesn't matter. But most people, they want to know up front, wait a minute. Because everybody thinks, oh, if I put X amount of dollars and then whenever I go to sell the house, I'll hold it back.
Make a big problem.
It's not a reality. Okay. In most markets, that's not a reality. So let's do the minimal amount of remodeling in your current home. Let's get the most bang for your buck out of your current home. Let's sell it as is. Don't let a flipper and an investor make money on your house. I want you to make money on your house, Sherri. And that we're going to find a house that has great bones, and we're going to buy that house at wholesale, not retail. Wholesale meaning you're going to do the remodeling. Retail, you pay for somebody else's remodeling. So when it's all said and done, you think about it. You captured the buyer interested in new homes. Due to timing and affordability, they can't afford the new home. Now we're going to find a home for a wholesale that you're now going to remodel. It's going to be new to them, right? So we consider our 3 designation courses as the turnkey agent. You're going to be prepared to talk to anybody and be in a position where you're actually demonstrating your value. Because I'll tell you what builders can't stand. They can't stand the agent knocking on the door, love to list your homes, and they know nothing about their business. And you just shot yourself in the foot. I don't care if you've been in the business 30, 40 years. It's a different animal.
Well, the wholesale versus retail language. And
that's him.
Listen, anybody who's taking your courses are going to level up their negotiation, their speak, how they present on any appointment with any buyer or seller. This is it's like gold. I remember being and going through your website with you a while back and seeing the RV, the home remodeling calculator. And
the
calculator that helps.
Our estimate.
Estimator.
It's phenomenal. And it's all part of this entire package. And you do increase their skills in marketing overall between marketing themselves as the whole language of wholesale versus retail, which we're hearing. I'm hearing that terminology. It's literally the best way to put that. And we have something called the 3 R's when you're trying to connect with your sphere and you're saying to your sphere, I mean, it came up with this literally as a decoy. Like, are you thinking about refinancing, remodeling, or relocating? I can help you with all 3. I can save you time and money on all 3. And people in my coaching will remember that 3 R's is like a real popular thing. Again, those people who think about remodeling, it might be in your best financial interest to do what Tree just said, which is let's put some into this.
Right.
We have a client earlier today. I was with a client from Bethesda, phenomenal top agent, Anthony Carrero from Long and Foster. He helped his seller with this he has your designation actually. He helped his seller net another $140,000 because they put $70,000 into the kitchen on purpose.
Exactly.
And it's all strategic. You've got the turnkey. You said turnkey. This is a turnkey. Learn it. And I like too that you said you can take these 3 courses in a matter of weeks and have the information available and go out and use it. And I believe compete at a higher level and win. And I love this. This is so great. And you really are. When you think about that,
I did about anything, Sherri.
Downer, Sherri.
You're killing us. You're killing us.
I am this is so magnetic. I mean, if you can't leverage this material, this information, I don't know what to tell you. This is the real estate's best kept secret. Like, think about it, right?
We actually wrote a book, Real Estate's Best Kept Secret.
I know that's the name of your book. I love this. It's so good.
Well, thank you.
And, when you come down to being an agent who says, I want to actually add more value and differentiate. Today's agents, they need to differentiate themselves better. They're not doing that. They need other sources of revenue. They need more certifications. I believe this is a must-have certification that every agent should have, whether you're new or experienced. And so you don't have to be in the business, right? You can be a new agent to get this, and you can be an agent who's been, any level.
We've had new agents who've jumped into this. Got a call from one who's been in real estate about a year, saw us at a convention, took the training. He said, Dennis, I'm putting together a 200-unit subdivision. He said, everybody in the office thinks I'm nuts. They have no idea how I'm doing it. And it's about possibilities. One of our favorite stories is up in Northern California. We were putting on a session there sometime late last year, and there was a guy in the room. And as I talked about infill, I said, anybody here familiar with infill? And this guy's hand goes up. And I said, anybody done this? His hand goes up. Anybody attending the Builders Association, connected with builders? Same guy. I finally stopped. I says, what's your name, man? He says, I'm Joe. They call me Joe V. I says, you're one of our people. Very nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here today. And he said, well, actually, you met me 12 years ago. I'm sure you don't remember, but he said, you were doing a session in Northern California. And Gino Blafari told me at the time, hey, you've got to see these people and what they do. I think this is something that could change your career. So I attended. And let me tell you something. He says, when there's things that happen in your life that change everything. You meet your significant other that becomes your partner for life. Mm-hmm. You have a baby's born. It changes everything. That day that I met you and Tree in that room was one of those life-changing days. He said, wow, you opened my eyes to possibilities I never imagined. And he had just gotten into real estate. He was
a mortgage broker.
He was in mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
He just decided to move into real estate.
Okay.
He says, since then, I have sold over $700 million in just new homes. The new homes business has drawn all my resale. I've done tear downs, rebuilds. I've helped do infill and so on. I've done my total volume over this last 12 years is $2.1 billion in sales. And Sherri, last year, he closed $180 million in just 1 year. We have an interview with him going up on YouTube soon here. He rolled into 2025, $100 million worth of new listings shortly after the beginning of the year, as his builders were finishing off other projects.
We want to bring Joe to every convention and tie him to our exhibit booth. Do you understand? Talk, Joe. Tell him what you've done.
Just one example. And he said, what happens is when you learn the language of construction, we teach you the challenges of being a builder, what builders want to hear and what they don't want to hear. And builders don't want to do all kinds of work and all kinds of things we can bring to the table, but there's just always this disconnect. So it's so funny over the years, continue to hear what a little niche, and this niche is worth billions and billions of dollars.
That case study right there, that had to just, talk about life-changing. And I love his story. I love that he came back to hear you talk again. I think that's amazing. What a fantastic story. When you talk about the language of construction, the language of new construction, that is, I don't want to pass over that. Agents don't understand it. And I think one of the other mistakes that they make is they sell new construction and they just let it go to the sales rep at that site. Do you know what I'm talking about? And I think if you're listening and you've done that, or you did it because the sales agent sort of took over, right? Now's an opportunity. Now this would be an opportunity where you can learn how that can change and that you can be pivotal in helping them make selections, helping them go through all the steps and the stages and making sure that the punch list and the walkthroughs are happening and the selections, and there's value to that. I did that. I made sure. That's right. You got to be there.
Yeah. I'd love Tree. One of my favorite stories.
Oh, yeah.
You know what it is.
Yeah, just you were saying
touching right on what you're talking about.
Exactly. And when you were talking about somebody brand new, or how many years you've been in the business, 40 years, definitely a benefit. So we were at a convention about 5 years ago, and this woman, again, came up to exhibit booth, saw certified NIM specialist. She comes on over, says, oh my gosh, I've got this great opportunity in Indianapolis, Indiana. 43 condos starting at $400,000, move down buyers. Me and my team are working with the builder and the developer.
Homes to sell.
So there's existing homes to sell and the 43 condos. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you us. This is incredible. Congratulations. No, I don't need your training. I could probably write the course.
I could sell
again. I said, oh, okay, here we go.
Oh,
I said,
boy.
Home sales training. She said, look, I've been in the business 28 years. I could sell anything. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Number one, how much money do you think the builder and the developer have invested in this project?
Right.
And she says, well, a lot. I said, okay, so you don't think that it's worth your time and investment to make sure you do it right and show them that respect, you and your team? Because it's one thing to get them. It's another thing to make sure it's successful, right?
Right.
I've got this. I said, okay, one other question. What do builders and developers do? They build and develop. So if you screw this up, you think you're going to get back in that door? She says, I've got this. I said, I wish you all the best. 6 months later, we're driving to Vegas for another convention. Our assistant forwards a call to my cell. It's this woman. She says, you remember me? I said, yeah, I do. She says, I was so cocky, wasn't I? I said, that's not why you're calling. What happened? Oh my gosh, the day the models opened, the builder and the developer fired me and my team and gave the project to the direct competition. I said, oh my God, that had her hurt. She says, you have no idea. I said, oh my gosh, you want to know what I did? I said, what'd you do? She says, I went and paid full price for your training.
Oh,
every word, every module that I was going through, I was cringing more and more. And she said, you want to know something? I would have fired me too. When I got to the end of your course, I would have fired me too because I did not do the job I was supposed to do. She says, but your words are ringing in my head. And I said, I can't believe you called. That takes a big person, right? She says, oh, you share this story. If anybody's ever cocky at your exhibit booth again, I said, I will. I appreciate it. She says, but there's more. I said, there's more. What can possibly be? She said, you know, I have to drive by that project to get to my office every single day.
Yep.
And your words are ringing in my head. That project sold out in 1 month. And do you know what? They're building another project right around the corner. And now I'll never get back in the door. So I always say to people, any agents I'm talking to, where is the downside for being prepared? Because it's one thing to get the opportunity, get the builder, but it's a whole nother ball game to make sure you do it right. Because there's no downside for you. It's only going to mean you're going to be doing that much more business. But she shot herself in the foot and now has that reputation now. You're not going to use her because she does not understand new homes. And it's so unfortunate because it was an amazing opportunity.
And you said, what is the downside for being prepared? Which I'm going to take. It's so true in anything, especially this. What a great bad example. And yet this is what, you'll love what I call this. I call it sales prevention, right? They're actually practicing they're preventing success. So I say, please stop practicing sales prevention, please. And this is, we're trying to help you. I'm glad she took your class. I thought maybe you were going to say that somehow she went back and re-interviewed, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. So this is we learn by other people's mistakes. And please know, this is not, we know we can have all 3 designations done in less than a month, less than 2 weeks. And that
about 27 hours.
Okay, 27 hours.
We give you lifetime access. So you can take your time. The beautiful thing is you can take the courses. You know what's in there now, right? We don't know what we don't know until we know it. Now 6 months from now, I'm going to approach a builder. Great. Let's go back into the course. Let's go through the steps. Selling your services to builder, or you want to do some market research, or you're looking at design ideas or whatever. Residential construction certified. Again, this is computer-based, loaded with images and construction drawings that you'll be comfortable with when you're done. You can use that with your customers. All right, let me show you with clearance fireplace, or let me show you types of windows. So it's just used in a lot of ways in your business.
It's a vault of information, everybody. I've seen it. It's so robust. The materials, the things, like you just said, it's what you don't know that is in there. And all of it you will need at some point. And if I can take the course at my pace and I have lifetime access, and if I want to finish the 27 hours sooner or later, I love that. I also love the fact that you just said it's lifetime access. You're always adding information, you're updating things, you're bringing more value to the members. So how does one go about finding your designations and your website? Could you tell everybody?
It's easy peasy. Sellnewhomes.com. Not sell old homes, Sherri. Sellnewhomes.com. Sellnewhomes.com.
Sellnewhomes.com. And what I'd like to add, we have a couple of other things there. We have a resource center, and in there we have partnered with a company. It's not our product, but it's an AI design tool where you can take photos, whether you're thinking of remodeling or maybe you have a new home under construction, the rooms are empty, and in a matter of seconds, choose various architectural styles. It'll decorate that room for you. You can redo exteriors, landscaping.
Done in real time. It's done right there when you're with your client.
Photorealistic. You saw, we demoed you on the cost estimator. It's the best construction data available, updated monthly. And you can go there and learn about that. Something else I want to make you aware, we're going to be launching, I believe this is going to be ready hot off the presses next week, but we've been training an AI GPT And I'm blown away by how cool this thing is. This is something we're making available for free, by the way. Visit our website, sign up and download this, and you'll go into ChatGPT, follow the link, and what you'll do is just simply identify your market area, zip code, a city name, that sort of thing. And then this will explore new home sales opportunities for you. It's going to research the builders in the area. It's going to talk about permits that are pulled. It's going to study the market. There are new homes, what builders provide, and what existing homes are selling or needed. So the output, it's mind-blowing. So if anyone has any interest, wants to try that, I think most people are going to do that and say, wow, I'm surrounded by opportunity I never realized, right? Some other things we say real quickly. Start tracking local building permits. If you aren't doing that, almost no real estate agents are doing that. Find this stuff online. Who's pulling building permits and what the heck are they building? That's opportunity. Attend your planning commission meetings. Get out there. That's where all the new developments, infill business, all kinds of things. And there's folks there that are working on projects, planning projects, architects, and also get involved in your local builders association.
Yes.
And the knowledge with the language of construction, we're going to teach you in our training. You can go into those environments and you will come out of there with gold, with opportunity. And other agents will be saying, where the heck? How are you finding this stuff? How are you getting in the door?
Like Joe V. Yeah, just like Joe V did.
No, Sherri, one other thing I just want to add, again, many agents, they don't okay, so how do I intercept buyers? So now make sure, like I said, you're prepared. But one of the things, I was just talking to a broker this morning, he's in the St. Louis market. He's like, the builders, they just don't like us here. They don't like us agents here. I said, well, you know what? This offers a great opportunity for you to step up and show you and all of your agents that you know what you're talking about. Have you ever seen in your market area, Sherri, you're in Chagrin Falls area, right?
I am.
Have you ever seen a real estate agent in your market, and anybody listening, look around your real estate market. Have you ever seen a real estate agent offering a new home buyer seminar? Not a first time.
No.
Everybody does a first time buyer seminar. But have you ever seen a real estate agent offering a new home buyer seminar?
No. And
we've got marketing tools also available on our website, which are PowerPoint slides. We've got one all built for you, organizational and checklist, content for your social media. But you want to talk about one of the most powerful ways to get on people's radar. You do that new home buyer seminar, and it's about you and what you're bringing to the table. I cringe when I hear agents say, need your training. I just dropped my buyer off at the door. I cringe.
You touched on that.
This is a powerful way for you to show your worth, what you're bringing to the table, how you're going to organize them, how you're going to take the fear out of the transaction. You now have something that no one else is doing.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, my dad taught me, if you're not adding value, no one's going to hire you, right? And if you add more value, you can charge more. So in a world with buyer agency and saying, this is what I charge, this is the fee I charge, and here's what I deliver, and here's what I do for you. I love the fact that I can use the designations two ways. I can use them to go out and find builders and developers and partner with them because I'm bringing more to the table as a real estate professional. I love the fact that as an agent, you guys are listening, I now have more expertise to bring to the table for a buyer. And this is so multifaceted on so many levels. I also, a new home buyer seminar, I teach home buyer seminars and first time buyer seminars. We have to start saying this. You have to take this class. This is a no-brainer. 27 hours for all three, and you have access for life. There is so much content. The fact that you just said all of the tools and checklists and, you know, everything you need to be successful to do this is already built for you. I think turnkey has been said a few times. The days when you would come and there'd be like, 300 people. So very rare because we've really gone virtual, and your whole product is so easy to take now. If I'm an agent, it's online. The videos, I've seen the entire suite, the library. It's like a vault of unbelievable data and market data. You owe it to yourself to go check it out. Sellnewhomes.com. get to know these two phenomenal people. I want to also do a shout out to Daryl McPherson, who really is the one who brought me back to you in one of our shows. And Daryl's a great, great icon in the industry.
He's a brother.
He's a brother to you. I know. He's kind of like that with me now. It's been 8 years, but I really want to say shout out to him because he really said to me, you need to know these people. As soon as I said that phrase, I was like, yes, I need to say DMAC. So we love you, DMAC. We love you. I'm going to do this with them in a week too. So your product is affordable. And I want to just let everybody know, what does it cost if I take all three? If I take one, obviously, I believe every agent here, and I'm a coach, every one of these is a grand slam home run. So does this run, is it a one-time fee? And then how, again, do they just sign up and they can start immediately, right?
Yep. Great question. So we have 6 different packages.
Okay.
Varying from $499 to $1,099. Okay.
Perfect.
With payment programs, they can have immediate access. Even if they choose a payment program, they have access to everything immediately, whatever package that they choose.
Okay.
90-day money back guarantee. So what that means is we're going to give you 3 months.
Wow.
Go through all 3 courses. Look at the marketing tools if you're purchasing those as well. If you do not feel these are going to help you go out and just have the confidence, the knowledge, have that value, give us a call. We'll give you a full refund.
We don't know anyone else in our business that does anything like that.
And no annual fees for the designations, by the way, either, because I know that's probably in the back of their mind. 0.
And I love that about you guys because and I'm going to say it again, there's no annual fee to have this designation like every other designation. But think about it. This is a huge ROI for what I consider to be really a very affordable price tag. We think of agents are always spending money on shiny objects of things they think are going to bring in leads. And this is going to change your life. This is a program that will enhance your skills, enhance your value. And I love the fact of going out and getting and seeking opportunities with builders and being a better agent for buyers. Please stop dropping them off at the model home.
Oh my gosh.
Please. Because we can't take it anymore. It's just so horrible. And personal experience, I gave a referral to some. And the buyer still says they did absolutely nothing. They should have not paid one dime. They're infuriated. I can't even tell you. And I referred them. And it's like, and the agent did not do one thing. And her excuse to me was that the sales rep said, I don't have to do anything. There's nothing for me to do. And I said, what did you just get paid $17,000 for? I'm just curious. So let's remember people are trusting us to help them navigate this. It doesn't have to be, it's a buyer's contract. No, you add value at every stage of new construction. I am delighted. I get to have the two of you. I'm literally going to see you in a couple of weeks too. This is great. I'm going to hug you. And I really want to thank you for spending the time today with me and bringing such amazing value to my show and to my listeners and to our audience that are going to now know who you are and continue. And I'm sure many do because, again, you've been doing this at a very high, almost, I would say, exclusive level for 30 years. And it's no wonder you've been honored and been given awards for years and years and years, and you're going to continue to do that. And I'm just excited I get to partner with you. By the way, Sherri Johnson coaching clients, we will be having some sneak previews of their content available that I know we're working on some things to be able to help you know about what you get. And, right now, my advice is go to sellnewhomes.com, sellnewhomes.com, check it out, sign up, and let us know if you have questions. And they can follow you on social media as well. We'll put that in the podcast episode. And please connect with Teresa and Dennis Walsh. If you're in Newport Beach, give them a call. They're the greatest people. You really are. You're amazing. And by the way, your son's amazing too. And he couldn't be more of a direct mini me of Dennis. Am I right? Like, oh my gosh, everything, the voice, everything. It's really amazing.
I know. Believe
I'll
me,
take
Sherri,
that as a compliment.
It is
And you guys you have a family and you're so close. And I really admire that. And I'm really excited that we got to do this today. Everyone, Teresa and Dennis Walsh, thank you again. I'm so excited we get to have one of our first episodes with these fabulous people. Go to sellnewhomes.com. Guys, I'll see you next time on our podcast. I'm Sherri Johnson. You rock. I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Sherri Johnson Show. If today's episode gave you a breakthrough or an aha moment, please take action. And don't forget, you can grab your free download of the Sherri Johnson Goldmine Pipeline in the link below and start seeing results right away. Want even more personalized support? Book a free strategy call with our team or check out our coaching program starting at just $49 a month at sherrijohnson.com. Remember, it takes 5 contacts to get a yes, but with the right strategy, you can get there faster. Let's turn your potential into profits. I'm Sherri Johnson, and I'll see you next week.